Welcome to the Explainer. Let's dive right into this hyper-practical, no-nonsense guide to buying property in Spain as a non-resident. If you're watching this, you probably have a dream, right? Maybe a gorgeous villa in Andalusia or a chic apartment in Barcelona. But look, between that dream and actually handing over the keys, there's a massive mountain of paperwork, tax laws, and legal hurdles that catch so many foreign buyers completely off guard. And no, a siesta won't magically make them go away. So today, we're stripping away the rumors, cutting out the fluff, and giving you the exact, factual roadmap you need to make this happen safely and legally.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the abolished golden visa, move through the 4 essential buying steps, break down your purchase taxes, look at mortgages for non-residents, cover the annual taxes you'll owe after buying, and wrap up with a final important disclaimer.
Let's kick things off with Section 1. The golden visa is gone, and the hard truth about residency.
So, first things first, we absolutely have to debunk the most dangerous, outdated piece of information floating around the internet right now. That famous 500,000 euro real estate golden visa, it has been entirely abolished. For years, this was a massively publicized pathway, invest €500,000 in Spanish real estate and boom, you get a residency permit. But because the laws changed so recently, countless blogs, articles, and frankly, some less scrupulous agencies are still out there heavily promoting it. Please, do not fall for it.
It's right here in the exact legal text from Ley Orgánica 1/2025. This explicitly amended the older law with effect from April 3, 2025, completely removing the residence by real estate investment route. That legal loophole is permanently closed. The route literally no longer exists.
Let me be absolutely crystal clear here to ensure there's zero confusion. Purchasing property in Spain at absolutely any price point, whether it's 50 grand or 5 million euros, does not automatically grant you a residence permit or any right to live there under current law. You can absolutely still buy the property as a foreigner, for sure. But your right to actually reside in Spain, that's a completely separate immigration issue requiring different visas.
All right, let's move to Section 2, the 4 essential buying steps. This is your practical guide.
If you want to buy property, there's a very strict sequence of events you got to follow. You can't just walk up and hand over a check. Before you can sign anything, and I mean literally anything, even setting up a local utility bill or opening a bank account, you absolutely must obtain your NIE. That stands for Número de Identificación de Extranjero. Think of it like a mandatory tax ID number specifically for foreigners. Now, linking back to what we just talked about, this number is strictly for tax identification. It is totally mandatory for your transaction, but it absolutely does not confer residency or any right of stay. With that NIE in hand, these are your 4 non-negotiable steps. Number 1, get your NIE. Number 2, you have to sign the public deed of sale, the escritura, before a Spanish notary. Keep in mind, a Spanish notary isn't just someone who stamps a piece of paper. They're a highly qualified legal professional required to formalize the sale. Step 3, pay your taxes. And step 4, you must inscribe the property at the land registry, which you can find at registradores.org. Please do not skip that last step. Registering is what legally protects your ownership against claims from third parties.
Okay, Section 3. Understanding your purchase taxes, or what you actually owe when you buy.
Now, what's really interesting here is how your tax burden completely changes depending on the type of property you're buying. If you buy a brand new property directly from a developer, meaning it's the first time it's ever being sold, you're paying a flat 10% VAT known as IVA. Plus, you'll owe a stamp duty called AJD, which usually sits somewhere between 0.5% and 1.5%. But if you buy a second-hand property, which is what most folks do, you don't pay IVA. Instead, you pay a transfer tax called ITP, typically ranging from 6% to 10%. Oh, and a quick side note, there's also a municipal capital gains tax called plusvalia. By law, the seller pays this unless you specifically agree otherwise in your contract.
Warning time. Pay incredibly close attention to this because it's where folks really mess up the math. I must strongly emphasize that we will never, ever give you a single nationwide percentage for the ITP transfer tax or the AJD stamp duty. Why? Because Spain is highly decentralized. The exact rate depends entirely on your specific comunidad autónoma. The rate in Madrid is different from Andalusia, which is different from Valencia or the Balearics. Never trust anyone giving you one blanket percentage for all of Spain. Always, always check your regional tax portal for the exact location of your property. Moving on to Section 4, mortgages for non-residents and financing your Spanish home.
If you're planning to finance your purchase rather than paying cash, you really need to understand how Spanish banks treat non-resident buyers.
While banks typically finance up to 80% for residents, non-residents are viewed as a bit higher risk, so they usually cap out at a loan-to-value of 60 to 70%. But here's the crucial detail. That 60 to 70% figure is merely standard market practice. It is not a legally regulated limit. Banks offer tighter conditions purely out of their own risk management, not because some law forces them to. So you should absolutely shop around and verify current conditions with multiple lenders.
Section 5, Annual Taxes After Buying. These are your yearly obligations.
So, you've got your NIE, signed the deed, paid your regional taxes, registered the property. We're done, right? Well, not quite. Your financial responsibilities don't just magically end on purchase day. If you aren't a tax resident in Spain, you fall under the IRNR rules, the non-resident income tax. You'll owe annual municipal taxes like the IBI plus this specific income tax, and the rates depend entirely on where you live. If you're a resident of the EU or EEA, you pay a preferential rate of 19%. But if you're from a third country, like the US, the UK post-Brexit, Canada, or anywhere else, you're subject to a 24% rate.
And that brings us to what might be the biggest shocker for foreign buyers. Under Article 24(5) of the law, you must file a Modelú 210 declaration every single year to declare what Spain calls imputed rental income. What does that actually mean? It means even if you use the property strictly as your own private holiday home, and even if it sits completely empty for 11 months of the year, the Spanish government essentially taxes you on the theoretical income you could have made if you had rented it out. It catches thousands of people off guard, but filing Modelú 210 annually is a strict legal requirement.
Finally, Section 6, a final important disclaimer to read before proceeding. We've covered a ton of ground today, but before you go booking a flight to go house hunting, remember this. This explainer provides informational guidance only. This is not legal or tax advice. Laws shift incredibly fast, like we literally just saw with the Golden Visa being abolished in April 2025, and regional taxes vary wildly depending on the exact municipality you buy in. Always verify your facts with official government sources. Make sure you consult an independent local professional, like a gestor or a specialized tax advisor, to look after your specific case. Buying property in Spain is wonderfully rewarding, but only if you respect the process. So, with the Golden Visa gone and regional taxes waiting, are you truly prepared to navigate the Spanish property maze?
That was a quick overview. On our website you'll find step-by-step guides to many procedures, the Padrón, the health card, the NIE, the TIE, legalization, and more. The link is in the description. And if you get stuck, message our Telegram bot. We'll walk you through for free, step by step.